Happy Bringling. Lots of people are now asking, what does Bringle mean? Myself, Anshav Jain, founder of Bringle, would like to share that Bringle is a trademark coined word from brain plus tingle. The tingling sensation you get when you achieve your dreams with your exemplary efforts, and that's why we are running this initiative called Bringle Dream Wave. Now, pulse of wisdom from the topic Blue Ocean Strategy. Karvinder Sharma mentioned that Blue Ocean Strategy is all about uncontested market. It could be current customers or new customers. It's a big picture, a trendsetter, and unreachable. Sangeet Kumar shared that real estate industry is undergoing a lot of changes. Virtual space is becoming window to showcase the places. He says future is hybrid model of online and offline. Startups from tier 2 and tier 3 cities to be focused with local HNIs. Santosh Kotian, a venture capitalist, spoke that 93% workforce is going to be working from home now. He shared examples of Facebook, Uber, Ola, how they have changed customer experiences. He said artificial intelligence, image analytics, video conferencing based technologies will be commonly used and going to disrupt the market. Startups and entrepreneurs, kindly upload your pitch deck at bringleacademy.com/course/business sustainability and get a chance to pitch it live in front of our cross-border investors. And do subscribe our YouTube channel Bringle Talks and keep watching the hashtag 21 days business sustainability challenge. Wait for the next topic. Until then, keep bringling, keep growing.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy Bringling. We at Bringle team, along with Vardhan, Women Lines, Solworks, and Poonam Foundation, would like to welcome all the participants who are there at our Bringle Blended Meetups platform and watching it live on our YouTube channel, Bringle Talks. Do subscribe the channel and hit the bell button so that you can get the daily live sessions reminders on your email. Myself, Anshav Jain, founder of Bringle, would like to announce that from today, we will not be sharing the Zoom links in the WhatsApp accounts. Everybody will have to sign up using the workshop link bringleacademy.com/workshop/139. This is due to the Indian government regulations or the guidelines which they have given in. We have automated all the steps, and we are taking a complete security controls to ensure that there is no data leakage. All our recordings and the user data are secured in a private cloud in a different server. There is no data which we are sharing it with Zoom. So you can also integrate your own Zoom accounts if you're having that and you've already subscribed to it with a one-time cost, and that will help you to secure your data sets and make your trainings or businesses more smoother and automated. It will reduce your administrative efforts more than 80%. With this, I would like to share what was discussed yesterday. Yesterday's topic was measures is a reality. The pulse of wisdom from yesterday. Ashay talked about creativity is subjective and difficult to measure as it is based on perception of audience within economic and social boundaries, as well as it is an easy to appeal to masses. At the core of business, creativity has to be linked with the purpose and target fit to be fit to appreciate the task based on the exposure or the awareness of the audience, which makes it as a real measure. The three important measures for creativity are audience, total revenues, and number of people with the ability to recall. Naresh from BNI also mentioned measurement is a reflection where one has moved in actual plan of where one has to go. Quantitative and qualitative indicators for the measure in defining the successes. The best qualitative indicator is about the stories which are important fact of the measurement to the business of today's world. Complexity of data in terms of a measure is a choice for business for what need to be measured and how many of are the right amount without increasing the workload. And the key sensitivity of monitoring. One has moved in actual
Sorry.
of where one has to go. Quantitative and Ramesh Iyer mentioned about envisioning an outcome or big picture, then one can formulate the process with measurement. Measure is the outcome compass which can head north or south. One measure a business over a year, the loss is 1 year. Measurement over a month, the loss is 1 month, and over a day, the loss is only 1 day, which can be achieved only with respect to the technology and automated platforms, which can give the dashboarding and matrices in a very automated and quick manner. Looking at data in isolation doesn't give a trend, but it is a mirror that shows trueness of the business. Importance of measure is to remove the noises of subjectivity. Do the right thing and do it right with KPIs is a success mantra for any business to run successfully. With this, I would also like to request businesses, startups, entrepreneurs to upload your pitch deck at bringleacademy.com/course/business sustainability with B and S of business sustainability in capitals, and do subscribe the YouTube channel Bringle Talks. Today's topic of cross-border hashtag 21 days business sustainability challenge is. Charu, would you want to explain about the speakers and the topic?
Sure. Thank you so much, Aisha. A very good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to whole global community there. Myself, Charu Mehrotra, founder of online magazine womenlines.com, which is listed in top 40 online women's magazine to follow in 2020. Blue Ocean Strategy is the simultaneous pursuit of differentiation and low cost to open up a new market space and create new demand. It is about creating and capturing uncontested market space. This is my understanding of Blue Ocean Strategy. Let's learn from the speakers for today. What exactly does it mean? We have Santosh Kotnis, Startup Advisor CXO, an experienced global business executive with a solid track record of IT and business management experience that involves strategic planning, operations, and financial management, program execution with complete PL responsibility for the business units and organizations, ranging from innovative startups to international leading organizations. Strong change agent with focus on organizational transformation for success. Have a strong experience of M&A activities and as operational business leader and at board level. Welcome Santosh to the show. We have Sangeet Hemant Kumar, transformational change and communication strategist. After pursuing a degree from University of Wisconsin, United States of America, with a bachelor degrees in business administration in the year 1987, on his return back to Mumbai and hailing from a highly professional, educated, and well-placed connected family, and the desire and wanting to do something different, Sangeet Hemant Kumar entered the business of real estate in year 1988. Kumar created and founded one of the first property portal in India, which is www.propertybuzz.com. He is and has been associated with India's oldest publication on real estate, the Accommodation Times Group, for last 2 decades or more, and was the convener of the Accommodation Times Award for 3 years. Welcome Sangeet to the show. We have Kavindra Sharma, faculty in technology management in MPSTME and MIMS. He teaches the strategic management and technology to students with his rich corporate background and knowledge based of 30 years. Blue Ocean Strategy is one of the subjects he teaches to his students as an important management strategy. He worked as Vice President Global Head Consulting L&T Infotech for 18 years. Prior to that, he was in Sintel as GM, managing multiple projects for clients in insurance, telecom, logistics, etc. Welcome, Kavindra, to the show. I hand over to Mani to take it further. Thank you.
Thank you, Charu. It was very good. I welcome all the speakers today. I would like to start the session by a quote from Jim Cam, who is a strategist in the Blue Ocean area. According to him, he says like effective Blue Ocean strategy should be about risk minimization, not risk taking. And I would like to ask the first question to Mr. Kavinder Sharma. In the current situation, everyone has to focus on the big picture. How do you see the relevance to this context? Please share your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I think let's get a little bit background about the whole Blue Ocean strategy just for a minute or so that we are all on the same page. So as Charu mentioned some basic definition of the Blue Ocean strategy, that is absolutely correct. But here, the basic idea is to get into uncontested market space from the consumer perspective, from the demand perspective. And again, it's not the new consumer or new customers. It could be the same customer, but you have never felt, or they themselves have never felt some particular need, right? So when we talk about blue ocean strategy, normally it is obviously uncharted territory. So the space is not so well defined, or that particular factor of blue ocean strategy. The space could be well defined, but that additional factor that you are thinking will lead to the blue ocean or the markets where there is hardly or no competition. The market size, the dynamics, the profits, the profit margins, sustainability, everything is kind of unknown in some way, right? But the market is huge, and you are the only one there. You are the only one there entering to start with, right? So I think guessing or putting some numbers is possible at a very high level, ballpark level. So let me give a small example. Just today, someone asked me, he wants to get into the business of PPEs. Because of coronavirus, PPE is a personal protection equipment for doctors, is a very important aspect. What is the size of the market, right? I mean, of course, we know today we have 20,000 coronavirus cases, right? And there is a projected kind of a growth chart, which is unfortunate, very unfortunate. But we know what numbers we are talking about, and typically, let's say each patient or each hospital will require how many such devices and all of that. So putting an accurate, I could do that guesswork or that work on the back of an envelope in something like 2 minutes, right? I don't need to have a very detailed picture that how many are needed in Maharashtra or in Mumbai or in which kind of hospitals have already have some PPEs. So how do I factor in that thing? That will be like boiling the ocean right now. So if I think that that's a great area to enter, so the big picture is there is a big epidemic, obviously, which is already hit the whole 160, 170 countries, and there is a huge need. Of course, it's not a blue ocean thing right now, but I'm just saying that these are the kind of equivalent assumptions you make about the size of the market, and then you decide whether you want to manufacture, whether you want to buy them from some other country. So make very high level decisions, broad decisions, high level numbers, assumptions, but the reality of the market is there in front of you. So that reality is more important, big picture is more important than the numbers. And that's where we say the big picture is important, not the profit, revenue, top line, bottom line, likely growth, whether it's going to be 6% or 7%, that could be a little bit tricky. So this is what we mean by when we say the big picture, and not a micro or a very detailed picture, which we draw in a strategy. In a strategy, we always work with what is the competition market share? What is my market share? If I increase my 2% marketing spend, what is the corresponding return on investment? All those things are not at this strategy, at least to start with, right? That's what is meant by big picture. Over to you, Mani.
Yeah. Thank you, Kavinder. You actually helped us. Seeing big picture is actually seeing the entire ocean, entire blue ocean. That was very well said. Thank you for that. With that, now when we have ocean of opportunities, definitely it's a new market. So definitely a lot of new trends are there. So I would like to again go back to you, Mr. Kavinder, to ask the next question. So catching up on new market trends, is this like building the business in execution, staying in the blue ocean itself? Please, can you comment, or please can you share your suggestions?
I think every business, whether it's a blue ocean strategy or not, is all about daily inventions or daily innovations of some sort, right? You have to always know the customer preferences are changing, the lifestyles are changing. Now, again, because of this coronavirus, a lot of things about assumptions about the lives are going to change and already changing, right? So basically the business is all about finding the customer value on a day-to-day basis. Every day the customer may need a different value from you at the price point which is affordable, right? So in the blue ocean strategy, when we come out with the factors that are not thought by someone else so far, let's assume, right? So actually we are the trend setters. We become the trend setters.
Exactly.
People can catch up. People will definitely catch up. It is not no blue ocean remains blue ocean forever. I mean, people will catch up. But certainly you get such a unassailable lead in the sense that the cashing up will not matter, right? So essentially once you have that particular DNA, let's say, of creating the factors or the blue ocean, So again, there are two parts to it. One is you can have a blue ocean strategy for a completely new business which is unheard of or unthought of. For example, Apple iTunes maybe 15, 20 years back was unheard of. Though Napster and other file sharing apps were there, but as 99 cents per song or the entire thing, you can download one song, one track, all that. I mean, everyone has. So basically, that remains still kind of undisputed leader and still have an assailable lead. But then, if someone has an existing business, line of business, multiple lines of businesses, and in one lines of business, if someone comes out with a new value proposition, which is just one more factor added. For example, again, someone is making, let's say, medical equipments already, right? And they're already making something to do with the doctor's protection, and they extend into, let's say, PPE, right? Or into ventilators, for example. Maruti ventured into ventilators, right? Maruti or Mahindra's, right? So basically, again, it was more of a nationalistic and that kind of a cause. But that's also like a blue ocean strategy as far as they are concerned, because who knows, 5 years from now, the cars may lose their relevance completely, right? The travel may lose relevance, as Sangeet was saying, who will travel from Juhu to Nariman Point, right? So all those factors will be very important. So essentially, you can stay with the trends. Of course, you have to keep inventing. So business, whether blue ocean or a normal strategy, is all about everyday reinventing or inventing what customer wants and enhancing your value proposition. But in the blue ocean, we go probably a few steps further and figure out that this is something, it's a completely adjacent market which was not thought of, or the strategy group which we don't belong to. We can actually poach onto that group. We are into a, let's say, commodity car maker, but we want to get into the luxury car maker, right? Of course, or we are into car making and getting into ventilator. So these are the kind of scenarios where the existing large companies, for example, will take the blue ocean strategy as one line of business. They will not, give away their car business, right? Even a car maker getting into EV will not give away the IC engine business, right? So extensions into lines of business, getting into the blue ocean strategy, is normally more amenable, more successful. Of course, there could be completely from scratch kind of blue ocean strategies. So that's a kind of a broad brush picture again, Mani.
Thank you, Kavinder. You actually helped us get a very deep insight saying innovation is the cornerstone of blue ocean strategy. Thank you for that. With this, I would like to move on to my next question with Mr. Sangeet Kumar. Mr. Sangeet, you have been very active in a lot of forums, and I could go through your bio, and it says like you are actually participating in most of the real estate forums, and you're doing. With this, I would like to ask you one question. The digital wave is attracting every business as a new opportunity. What is a new market boundary you see for this kind of business?
Let me talk about real estate. That's one of the most challenging aspects. A lot of other businesses, including fashion, there is, you can do marketing digitally. Real estate, because it's a real asset and it's high value. So there is the biggest challenge right now as far as our industry is concerned. But even there, we have already started seeing a lot of technology and digitalization happening, because we've got RERA, which is about 3 years now. So we have transparency. So once you have a transparent system, a lot of the information which is there on the RERA website can be aggregated and put up on a platform, so that you as a consumer or as an investor have enough information about a project. So that's the first change which is happening. There's a lot of full check transaction happening. There's no need of cash now. So because of the transparency and because of RERA as a regulator, what happened years back for insurance or what happened for your investment in SABI is now happening from a real estate perspective. So that's the first change. A lot of information is available online. The channel partners, the brokers are being trained, just like, we're having these kind of sessions here. We are simultaneously having digital transformation and marketing for brokers. So the entire ecosystem, right from the developer to the channel partner, to the consumer, to the user, to the investor, including the banking and the lenders, we're going to see a lot of change in terms of the information which is going to be available online. And that's going to kickstart what I call as the PropTech era. So the transformation is there, digitalization is taking place, and you're going to see a lot of online portals and you're already having the listing websites, so that information is there, it is going to be very much possible that you will be able to transact, at least if not close a transaction, but to like we were just talking about virtual site visits going to be happening. So we're going to see this change as far as our industry is concerned, real estate. Having said that, this is going to be the next change predominantly, even for everyone in terms of using and going online. So we're now used to getting information online. We're also going to start using digitalize the virtual space even for transacting now. So that's going to be a change which I believe we all will have to adopt, and all our friends who are not tech savvy or who are not on the digital platform, this coronavirus has now forced us to adopt to that change, and all of us get digitally transformed now.
Wow, thank you. So I understand that it's more of boundaryless and everyone is on the digital wave.
It has to be boundaryless, I think now.
Yeah.
This is going to change.
Yeah, very, very well said. In the connection with the same thing, I also have another question for you.
Yeah.
Let's go online or realign offline. This is the kind of a constant topic or a vibrant topic for every business nowadays. So how does a leadership team should look at the strategic importance of this? Do you have any suggestions for that?
So are we now can I make a general statement here of the online and offline? Is it
Yes, yes, please.
rather than getting
Yeah.
into strategy of leadership now, I'll give you a small example. I mean, what we've been doing for the last 2 years, we have been doing a number of events, right? And these are all B2B and B2C events. So we have a lot of conferences and awards which we have done. And now suddenly all this is not going to be happening. So even after the lockdown is over, we're going to be having social distancing. There is going to be a lot of precaution taken for these kind of events. So now you're going to be seeing a lot of events happening online. So what are we talking about engagements and activation is going to be now a hybrid model. So we're going to be having online activities, activations and on and offline. And both the combination of both these activities is what is going to get into what we're going to call as the customer experience now. So whether it is the leader, a CEO or the boss, what he wants to communicate with his team at the home, which is the office now, or to the consumer, this is now going to get very seamless, and there is going to be a very thin line between online and offline. And there is going to be this conversion of both these so-called reach outs and the kind of activation and the interaction. All this is going to change now, and we're going to be seeing both now. You're going to have activation which is going to be offline, and that is going to be integrated with online and simultaneously. So we have a webinar or we have a conference like this. There is going to be something which is going to go offline once we have the lockdown, which is going to be in the next few weeks or a few months. So you're going to be having this hybrid models now where offline and online, both these platforms are going to converge together, which was not the case earlier. Now you're going to see more of this, more of the YouTubes, more of the WhatsApp, more of the Instagram, all getting integrated. And from a communication perspective, I see a very good opportunity for this integration happening right now.
So it's more of creation that will be playing a major role in creating these hybrid models.
Absolutely.
And a lot of
experiments going to happen now, Mani. We will not fear from experimenting. I think experimenting is going to be the new word now, which we all will want to experiment now.
Oh, great. Thank you for that insight, Sangeet.
Sure, Mani.
For this, I move on to Mr. Santosh. Santosh, you have been extensively working in the startup space, and you're also helping a lot of startups to follow this kind of blue ocean strategy. So from the current situation, I'm just getting a very tricky question here. Just see, how do we see startups in the pre-COVID and post-COVID situation? Which one of them are in the red ocean, and which one of them are in the blue ocean? And how do you see the growth for them?
Okay. So, as a part of my portfolio, I also run a venture capital firm. So, I wish I knew a perfect answer for your question. I mean, otherwise, I would have gone and then put money on all blue ocean startups. I mean, and then I will be perhaps the undisputed king in the world, right? But jokes apart, what actually it's a very interesting question, because COVID is something which we are seeing globally as a phenomena which has transformed our life, personally as well as the business side, which is truly so. I mean, it has certainly transformed. A lot of new thing came up into existence. One of the leading software company during their quarterly commentary says that 93% of our workforce is working from home now. That is phenomenal, which I think I've been in the industry since like 20 years. I never saw a case like, so whenever I saw or whenever I say that I will work from home today, people always looked at me with a little angle of doubt, like why this guy wants to work from home. So now things are changing. So now coming back to your question, the fundamental business, as Sangeet Kumar said, so that there will be a phenomenal mixture of online and offline kind of activities. I am not advocating a fact that this offline, it might appear to us like we are in a lockdown situation, but I don't really believe that this offline sort of a business will go out. I mean, I think the human memory is very, very tricky. I mean, come next year by this time, I think we'll be as usual, hopefully. So, so the idea is that what we need to look at, I mean, irrespective of it's a COVID or a non-COVID. So what I call as a Facebook is a media company, right? So why on this earth anybody will look out for somebody else's picture who are on a vacation or a family or whatever? And on the earth, why I will go and then like someone's picture on the Instagram? But now, the way in which it transformed itself, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that it has no, or it had no competition. It had a competition that was not an early mover advantage as well. But what necessarily I'm talking about is the ability to redefine everything. So it started off with something else. It redefined itself into social media. When it started, I mean, it's an absolute example of redefining the business model from like just a social media company, photo sharing app into an absolutely media company. So that's a transformation. So as long as I'm doing that kind of a transformation. Another classic example is this Ola and Uber. It did not do anything. It's just an offline there. It's a simple app, right? But it certainly modified the way in which I consume one point into another point, right? So if you hear Bhavish Agarwal from Ola, he says that his vision is to go into the end point. Like, I'm not satisfied bringing a person from one point to another point, but can I take him or her to an end point? So that's an amazing thing. It's a classic example of how I'm mixing my online and offline business together, defining a completely different model altogether, completely different market altogether. Does this mean that the cars were not there, the auto rickshaws were not there earlier? Of course they were there. The taxis were there. There's something any new, but now why I use Ola today or why I will use Uber today? That is because it helped me to redefine the way in which I consume the taxi, the way in which I consume my auto rickshaw drive. There are endless examples how it was there and then how I'm consuming today. So now coming back to your question, Mani, I would believe post-COVID this kind of a trend will continue. What I'm doing absolutely offline today, there will be an online element today, coupled with tomorrow, coupled with AI, I mean artificial intelligence, coupled with say image analytics, video analytics, and then and I think there are a lot of new technologies coming in. On the new technology on the block is a blockchain. It is phenomenal how people are going to use the data to do the clinical research. There are three fundamental steps in the clinical research. This COVID, as we speak, one of the startup working on this. So how they are doing this clinical research is phase 1, phase 2 is now entirely done using a blockchain platform. Only phase 3, which is approved or required for FDA, is going or going to be done for on human specimens. Just imagine, it's reducing so much of the time. So quick, long, short, long answer, but to summarize this, the mixture of online and offline is a post-COVID era, in my opinion.
Wow, great insight. I had to bring this question because I was talking to a few startups and they came to me and asking a question like, shall we start our idea now or after COVID? So that's when I was trying to work with them and help them like, if the idea is good, it can always go well. And then they were saying about some mix with red ocean, blue ocean. So I thought, why can't I bring this question and ask the expert and let everyone know how this actually coins out. And thanks for that. And I move on to the second question in the same regard. Like, see, most often blue ocean strategy is said to be unattainable, but helps a business on a little shift in the right direction. And do you agree? Can you share your perspective?
Yeah, so the answer is yes. Can I build a blue ocean strategy every month, every year? Answer is perhaps no. I mean, it's hitting that jackpot is something is very rare. But if I attempt to do something, a classic example is the retail. Okay, so is it the fact that the retail shops are going out of the business? Not anytime soon. Not at all.
True.
Right?
Very
but
good. Yeah.
But attempt to do a blue ocean strategy using Flipkart, Snapdeals, and then X and Y and Amazon has certainly created a new trend. It's certainly creating a new trend in the business, right? So while I say that blue ocean, I mean, I certainly would like to see more and more blue ocean companies, but even if I attempt trying doing something, it will transform the industry. Another example, Swiggy is a classic example. I mean, I've been eating in the restaurant, I've been going and then picking up the food from the restaurants like since ages now. But Swiggy tried doing something different. So what is the result, right? So I don't call Swiggy as a blue ocean strategy, right? But the thing is, it attempted, and then the result is see. I mean, we can see the result there. That it completely transformed the way in which I order my food today. And then I know pretty much. I mean, I can open the door when the person arrives on Swiggy app. It says that okay, the person is there, person is outside, person is reaching in 2 minutes, etc. So the fundamental thing is that the entire innovation there in Swiggy has transformed to help me. I mean, me in the sense I'm talking about. I'm a consumer here. So my experience, what I call as a consumer experience, user experience, business user experience, that is getting transformed. So though the fact of ordering the food might not have changed, but my experience has changed. That is all because of the blue ocean strategy they thought about. They wanted to do something, so they shifted the entire business to acquire more customers. Point is there. These guys might or might not be making money today, but what I'm talking about is the strategy by and large.
Oh, wow. That's a very helpful insight.
Can I add something?
Thank you for that, Santosh. Yeah, please, Sangeet. Yes.
One more thing I want to stress on is when we talk about transformation and we talk about change, and there's going to be a lot of disruption happening. But that does not mean if you all are in a particular business to please go and change that business and start doing something else. No, you already have a set business. You already have your clientele. You already have your customers. Now, please don't go and change your business. Don't just follow someone else. Don't try to be a Swiggy or don't try to be a Uber, because that's not your business. Do what you are, do what you know, understand what your client needs are changing, and you got to address those needs and understand, because you've been in the business for last 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You know that you are already an expert in your business. Collaborate with some tech person or a technocrat and try to understand how a different kind of a transformational change is going to be implemented, and the business model needs to be changed, and new ideas need to be implemented. So you don't want to change your entire primary business and just go into something else which you don't even know. So your expertise and someone else's tech, what should I say, intelligence together can create a different business model.
Wow.
So I can see a lot of people getting confused now. Please don't get confused. Don't lose heart. Do what you want and just try to do things differently, and don't just change your entire business. That's going to be detrimental for you and for your entire approach. That's a wrong approach.
So I think, Sangeet, I would really want to add on this, and it's a very interesting point you have brought in. The businesses today are literally in shock. What do they do? I am sure, they should not be closing down their business, shutting down their businesses. And I will give you with a simple analogy. And I think, see, I am one of the entrepreneur who has got 17 years of experience in corporates. And I started with a very basic minimal salary, which any fresher can start. And then when I started my entrepreneurship journey 7 years ago, for me, it's a start at that point in time. Now, whatever I have built in over a period of 7 years, if I leave that today, entire effort is gone. I mean, I might have my own losses, misses, failures, successes, all of that. If I try to lose that at this point in time, what we are doing is, and it is very common saying, right? If you're moving onto a path and you're 50% reached to that level, 50% of your target, the time that you'll still have to move 50% even if you're going to come back. So it's better to move forward and take that step and achieve your dream, because that dream is for which you have started off. So I think it's a very important part which entrepreneurs has to understand in this tough situation, that sustainability and that learning doesn't come in one day. It takes time. And there are situations, there are different concepts, different models which will change. Work on your business model a little bit, but don't change your business at all.
Exactly. And I want one more point here which I want to kind of stress upon is even in your client base. Just like talking about changing the business, I'm going to see a lot of people now, a lot of entrepreneurs, and they're the young people predominantly. They want to even go and look for a new client base. Don't do that. I keep telling all my friends, even in real estate, you already have 100, 200, 300 clients. You got to go back to them, touch base with your existing clients, understand their needs, like I was saying. So don't go for new markets. Please don't go for new customer base. You already have an existing relationship. Understand their pain points, understand what they require, and try to fulfill that particular their new demand and the new way they want to consume your product or your service or your kind of a solution which you're providing. That will be easier and better.
Absolutely. Very and I think you can extend it to little bit, maybe they're not, you rightly use the word relationships. I think we missed that point. We always think that customers are the only people we should be kind of reaching out to. No, your existing relationship by which you are coming with a unique different model, you can actually reach out to them because they are also facing those challenges.
No, I'll tell you very honestly, this is where a lot of entrepreneurs are missing the bus. They just forget their own clientele which they have relationship for the last so many years. In real estate, it so happens that I am talking to you and I talk to you today, I don't talk to you tomorrow. We don't engage with our own known contacts on a continuous basis. That's going to kickstart your communication now, that we need to improve on our communication, improve on our different strategies, on remain being engaged with your prospective clients who were there earlier. You already had a relationship with them. I mean, ideally, I would love to get into some kind of an engagement with all of you post this session, so that I keep telling you and I keep reminding you of what I do in a very storytelling kind of a concept. It's some kind of a content marketing. You can't keep calling everybody. Hi, Anshu, ghar lene ka kya bhai? Ah, bhai, or Pooja, you want to buy something? Looking for an office? You will stop taking my calls. You say, forget it. This is not the time to buy and sell. But it's a matter of being continuously engaged with your target audience.
Thank you. Thanks for that insight, Sangeet. I think I've done with my questions and basically captured all the insights. And I could just try to summarize and open for question answer session.
Mani,
Yes.
Kavi has inputs on the last questions. Question you asked to Santosh.
Oh, sorry, I was not following the chat, Mr.
Yes.
Kavi. Yes, please,
Yeah.
you can share your
Yeah,
insights.
yeah.
Thank you.
The same thing, I hope. So I think again, classically, just to give a 2-minute perspective again from a theoretical background perspective, because blue ocean strategy is a solid body of knowledge, right? And there is a lot of common sense about the strategy in general. So I think, every businessman or every business entrepreneur knows that what to do and what, how to reach out to the customer, relationships, all those are always important, will be eternally important for all the businesses. How the blue ocean strategy is different than the normal thinking or this approach, what we are discussing, is in very structured areas, in 3 or 4 areas. For example, we are looking at the customer and relationships. The blue ocean strategy actually extends that. Look at the non-customers. Look at the people who are not your customers. Look at the industries that are completely, you never thought about them, but they are part of your adjacent industries. So let me give a small example, very old classical book example. Let's say if you are in entertainment industry like cinema, like theaters, right? Now theater industry, what is the relation between theater industry and restaurants? I mean, really speaking, there is no relationship, except that in theater you can buy some food and all, but that is not a restaurant, right? Restaurant is a completely different industry. Theater is a very different industry, cinema, I mean, right? But you have to look at from the end user perspective. For an end user, if I have 3 hours to spend in the evening, let's say with my wife, I have 2 options. I can go to the cinema or I can go to a nice restaurant, right? So you have to think about these kind of customer requirements and customer needs, and then create a strategy. So that's just one example. Second could be, for example, you are already in the cinema business, and today, again, it's a classical example that which is there in the book actually, incidentally, that I mean, a cinema goer always, at least in the US and other countries, faces a problem that if you have young kids, very young infants, for example, what to do? You have to normally call a babysitter, right? So how you can combine 2 businesses or offer your restaurant or your theater business such that you offer a babysitter service also. So what additional services you might want to offer in light of a new reality of the business or new reality of the world is the blue ocean strategy. So it's a very deliberate thinking about very specific aspects about where you are in the industry and what the customer does, not just with your industry, but with similar industries to your, like restaurant and cinemas or similar industries, right? Reaching a point A to point B, there are 100 different ways to do that, right? So it actually broadens your thinking, but it gives you a structured roadmap, and actually it gives you a systematic way of doing it. Otherwise, it's actually a broad brush thinking that of course you have to work on the relationships. You can't call pester a customer that buy this, buy that. But I think it makes you do things which are a little different and more structured. And again, coming back to this, that every business has, all the established businesses have to do it incrementally, right? I was in Larsen Toubro for many years, right? Every day, every business is reinventing themselves in some form or the other on a daily basis, including the real estate business, for example, right? So I think that is all the blue ocean part of that. Some of it, they are the first one. Some of them, they are not the first one. But again, thinking from the customer perspective, who are the customers and who are not the customers, and why they are not the customers, right? That actually brings that dimension of thinking slightly different. Of course, the current time of COVID virus is like, we are all completely taken by that particular very unfortunate event. But that's a constant thinking. It is not just particular event or anything. It's a constant thinking that what the customer is doing other than buying your stuff or other than your stuff, or what he's going to do with your stuff, right? So there are many possibilities with this thought process. So it's more of a thought process which is constant. It is not one-time thought process. Okay. Yeah.
That was very helpful insight. Thank you, Mr. Kavin. I would like to summarize that the Blue Ocean strategy is more about the incubant ideas or anything business has. Put this more into the Blue Ocean, more on the innovation mode, and try to experiment all the things that our experts have brought in here. Like could be a customer experience, could be a relationship, could be a business model, could be a new transformation approach, all these things. And then you can take a call on what is the next step. You can go with the Blue Ocean strategy. Thank you. Thank you for all your insights. And with this, we open for question answer sessions.
Yeah, so thanks, Mani. So I will read out questions. There are a lot of questions today. So Anshav has shared
So
a question.
Rajshri, my questions can be taken up later. I would want others' questions to answer first.
Okay, so
After a long time, I'm feeling I'm attending a classroom now. Question and answers.
But as you always said, you just mentioned storytelling. I think question and answers is a very good way to reinforce a few aspects out of it. So
as long as I'm not marked here by Anshav or anybody else here, don't grade me like A, B, or C or whatever. I don't want to fail my first exam.
So that's there on our platform. That's not there here.
I saw that.
Okay, I have this question for Santosh. Is it important to know if we are in red ocean and map it, evaluate, and only then we can see the blue ocean?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Very nice.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Santosh, you have to check your mic. You are giving lot of inputs which are so valuable. We want to hear.
I think his internet connection is a little low. That's the problem because of his.
Continue.
Okay, there is a reason, because me and my daughter are using the same internet because she's attending her classes, and
justified.
That's the first demand to the government of India, that increase our bandwidth there.
Yeah. So.
Santosh. Okay. So now I will try talking little slow, so it might help. Let's see. Yeah. So the answer for your question is the yes. This is precisely what we call as a pivoting in the startup terminology. There are a lot of companies who start off with something else and then pivot to something else. I mean, that is as a result of advisor or the investors. There are tons and tons of companies. I mean, even up to an extent, there are companies like Mitra, so adopted a methodology of only going mobile. That is again is a pivoting, or which we might not know, but I can quote 10 different examples where the idea was completely different. And then after talking to the private equities, the vendor, the venture capital guys, the investors, angel investors, and the strategy people, the model got changed. So that's what we call pivoting. And then that is a very, very essential part of bringing in any startup into any accelerator program. So that is how the accelerator programs will add value to the startups, help them in pivot. So what exactly is a pivoting is nothing but whether the strategy works or not. What exactly is that? Are we going towards a blue ocean strategy where everybody makes money, right? So that is pretty much essential. For example, can I create exact replica of Flipkart today? The answer is no. That's a red ocean strategy. But can I create a differentiator, some differentiator somewhere? It could be a money differentiator like Amazon, or it could be some other differentiator which we can't think of right now. So that again, that pivoting will happen after talking to the investors or accelerators.
I have
Okay.
a slightly different take. Can I just add to that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Please do.
sure.
I think, what pivoting is very, very interesting and important aspect which Santosh has brought about. But truly speaking, blue ocean strategy doesn't require you to be in the red ocean. But you have to know. You have to know the industry. You have to know the norms. You have to know the factors. So there is a very classical example of a company called Yellowtail, which is a wine making company in Australia. They were not into the wine making at all, but they understood understood wine. Drinking wine is a very, is a lot of, there are lots of varieties of wine and art, vintage, all that. So they realized that a lot of people who love, for example, drinking, but wine is such a complicated drink, complicated to buy. If you go to a store, you'll have hundreds or thousands of bottles of different brands, different prices, premium, non-premium, and this and that. So they came out with a very simple strategy looking at just all that. They were not into the wine. That we should simplify the whole business. We should sell wine like beer, let's say. Very, very simplified purchasing. And they came out with a very successful model where wine market is very saturated. It has just same drinkers who drink wine will drink wine. You will not add a lot of people into that. But as soon as they came out with this strategy that let's simplify it, whole lot of new customer got added. So actually blue ocean strategy is about finding out someone who was not there already in the industry. And it's possible that you are not in that industry already. But of course, you have to theoretically pivot it, if not practically.
Yeah.
And actually, sometimes if you are very close to a problem, let's say if you are already into wine making, you may not get that because you are very close to the problem. So sometimes you don't get it. But if you are very away, you are a consumer, you say, oh, why it is so complicated to buy wine, right? Why can't I simplify it like any other drink, right? Someone thought about it and they just created the whole industry. So I think, again, there are examples and counter examples, but I'm just giving a different perspective that this also happens a lot, that you are not into a red ocean already, but you can create a blue ocean. The wine industry is there. Of course, there's a red ocean in terms of wine industry, right? That's the red ocean. But you yourself were not there, right? You could see the red ocean based on which you could draw the factors that what makes people do certain things or buy certain things or go to restaurant or go to theater, based on which you can come up with a strategy. Of course, some piloting has to be done, like as Santosh said, pivoting, but you can be in completely blue ocean right from beginning.
So my next question is related to that. Is that we are talking about blue ocean as a uniqueness and we create the market. It need not be part of the red ocean. Then does that delay the outcome or break even? And can a startup afford this delay?
See, startups are always about some white space anyway. Startup is always about some sort of a blue ocean strategy.
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, if it's a very, very, if you want to have a startup which will, let's say draw oil from the oil seeds, let's say, I mean, that's not a startup. So startup is always about identifying some white space or some uniqueness or some factor which was not looked at by others in some way. But again, what kind of, then you have to do it a little bit more detailing in terms of the business plan, as Santosh was saying, in terms of what kind of customer you can get in phase 1, phase 2, initial. There is a standard, life cycle. But really speaking, startup and the blue ocean strategy is a strategy, right? It applies to very large corporates. It applies to mid-sized companies. It applies to businesses. And within businesses, it could apply to, corporate intrapreneurship. That means within corporate, there could be some within startups, right? Or equivalent of that. When a corporate wants to get into a new line of business altogether, that's like a, intrapreneurship within a corporate. So all those are the areas where blue ocean strategy, principles of the blue ocean strategy works. Some principles of this work in startup, obviously, because startup is all about some white space. But as far as the outcome or, when will you get the results and all, it doesn't actually, the blue ocean strategy doesn't dictate that part. That part is a pure business acumen. And, how will you execute that? How will you?
So if I understand, You have to be clearly differentiate between this being a completely innovation, creation, and uniqueness, and you have to go steady with the business strategy.
So actually, there is a very nice term called value innovation in the business in the blue ocean strategy. It's called business value innovation. It's a combination of two very clever terms, because the normal strategy is all about customer value creation. So all the businesses are about customer value creation, and then what premium you can charge for that value creation. The blue ocean strategy is about the value and innovation. So you actually kind of get the best of both the worlds. You give obviously something which is cost competitive, but you are innovative. Innovation is very important. You are giving some innovation which was not probably available or not there or not thought through. The way, I mean, innovation could be in the process, it could be in the way at looking at the customers. Innovation need not be always the innovation, it could be just the way you look at the customer. Like same example, that the customer going to a movie and with young kids, and what will you do with the babysitting? So that itself is a kind of a innovation in terms of process, right? So all these are aspects of innovation. So you create the value. Innovation is the fulcrum of blue ocean strategy.
Okay, thank you. That was a good answer.
Santosh, I have a question for you. It's more on, let's say, the blue ocean strategy is all the new things that startups can do. But slowly, there will be followers and there will be competitors that will be in the blue ocean. So, how do you see competition in blue ocean strategy?
The competition will pick up for sure. So the classic example, I think, what I would like to give is this AWS cloud services. So
Amazon.
that was a true blue ocean strategy when it all started. Okay, put everything on the cloud. But look, pretty soon what happened? Microsoft came with a big ecosystem of their technology partners, and Google came in with a lot of users. IBM came in, so on and so forth. So, but now what happened is, since Amazon got an early mover advantage, they never stopped innovating. So the moment I stopped innovating, I think that's the end of the story. Whether it's whatever ocean that might be, whether it is blue, red, or whatever color I want to call. So can I use that early mover advantage of being in the blue ocean and then keep reinventing? And then if I keep reinventing the business model, if I keep reinventing how I connect with my customer, then I think I will still have that advantage of early mover and then being in the blue ocean. So why Microsoft? I mean, of course, Microsoft was late into the game. It is picking up now. Google is picking up. IBM has picked up. But the thing is, like, I would certainly get an early mover advantage. A second classic example is if we see anywhere. I mean, I think it's Flipkart. It has a counterpart for Amazon. Ola, there is a counterpart of Uber. Uber, Ola, however I want to call it as. So what happened to iPhone? So within 1 year, I think we had a touch screen. I mean, we never heard about touch screen earlier before iPhone came in. But immediately, I think everybody started doing touch screens. But still, iPhone is still sought after product. So that is not because they stopped innovating. So they kept on innovating, and then that's the fundamental reason why these companies are still having that leadership in the overall thing. Another classic example I keep quoting is my favorite example. Look at TCS. Okay, so it's like people call that as a red ocean, but look at that. I mean, it's like a $22 billion, and then year on year they clock somewhere around 8 to 10% on a base of $22 billion, right? So that's all about innovation, and it's all about. Of course, they certainly have an early mover advantage with a couple of other companies, but we keep calling that, okay, India doesn't innovate, but I completely disagree with that. India absolutely innovates. Just imagine 450,000 people working for one common goal, $22 billion. You keep on adding 6 to 8% every year. That is phenomenal. That is the innovation.
So, Santosh, I would like to add here, and Mani, you have asked a very relevant question, and I would want to, particularly highlight this and add to that question. Santosh, see, whatever the names you have mentioned out here in terms of the organizations are all, already a grown-up organization. There are big, they're already having their own unique strength with respect to their teams, technology, and even money. Uh, what do you suggest for in these times? So I'm sure there are a lot of platforms and things which are coming up with their own blue ocean strategy, like ventilators who are now in demand. There would be a lot of online conferences now. Everybody is trying to do that. School online solutions, uh, and of course, it is about one or the other solution which is coming in. Like we at Bringle also, we have been using this technology of blended models for last 2 years, but of course the focus was not there, people were not adopting to it, but now the model is there, people are realizing the importance. But my question is that when those startups which do not have funds to that extent that they can market and penetrate the market, so you mentioned about capturing the market. Now capturing the market means that you have to invest in marketing, you have to invest in team, you have to invest in technology, because with that the technology landscape also will involve, and it requires a huge amount of capex requirement. By the time a small startup, even whatever the level, they try to reach out to that and they try to reach out the investors. Probably these companies who are like Microsoft, IBMs, and all this, they will hear that story and it will be very easy for them to quickly replicate. Now, how do you suggest for those startups who are becoming a need of the hour today, have no investments, and still continue to capture the market share and keeping their business ideas protected? See, you cannot protect technology and ideas today. There is no way to do it. And what is your suggestions on that, and how can we help out these startups from the investment perspective?
That's a great question. Let me ask a question to the entire forum here. WhatsApp was bought over by Facebook. Do you think Facebook would not have created WhatsApp or a sister like a WhatsApp? Absolutely, they could have created.
They would have created, yes.
But then why did they bought over? Why Microsoft bought in LinkedIn? Do you think technically it is not possible for them to create that? Absolutely, they would create. They even bought the GitHub, right? So the fundamental thing is, like, let's talk about this Facebook and WhatsApp. So WhatsApp survived very tough days. They had a very rough years, actually, not days, when it all started in Silicon Valley, no money, and then of course there is no fundamental answer that okay, do investors will come and then fund this? Yes, I mean the answer is. Being a fund guy, I'm an eternal guy. I mean, I'm an eternal positive guy. Okay, every startup will get funding no matter what. But if I can survive in creating that, so now point is, can I just keep running the investor money? No investor will like that. So if the idea is good, people will start using that. So that is the fundamental success for any startup. And then to get that, I mean, say if I can become a WhatsApp pretty quick, and then I will become a target for larger company, right? I would look for as an entrepreneur, I would like to look at such opportunities and exit. I mean, I don't want to keep looking at an emotional value. Okay, I created this WhatsApp, I would like to be here. No, move on and then create something else. There's tons and tons of examples in the industry, in the startup ecosystem, where the very unique, very niche, which was bought over by a larger company. TCS bought so many things, and Infosys bought so many things, so many companies. All are like an augmented. I mean, they have something, and then this augments to them in certain way or form. And I think that is okay. Right now, I'm working with an European startup. I mean, that is there in my LinkedIn everywhere. The fundamental fact, what we said as a board of directors, he said like 2 years, this company should be acquired by Salesforce.
Santosh, that's another point I want to add. Okay, this is a very big problem within the startup community. Whenever you reach down, go to the, I think probably we are digressing, but then whenever we go to an investor community, the investor is only looking at which company can acquire this startup and how I can make my money out of it, rather than thinking of creating your own identity. And that is what I always say. Don't create your, develop your startup. And this is my honest advice to every entrepreneur. I love my startup. I love my business. It is what I have created. Now, today, if somebody tells me which company should, acquire you, is tell me the answer. And I will say, no, I should acquire which company. You ask me that question. Can I acquire some other company? And Sangeet, you have some point?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about all the names we are given right now, talking of all big names, right? I think
Absolutely.
what Anshu we're trying to tell, there are a lot of startups, and talking of thousands and perhaps hundreds and millions of startups right now. And there is this disconnect between this investor who's only looking at how he's going to, before entering, he wants to exit.
Absolutely.
So that's not done. Okay. So I'll just give you one small thing here, which I've been working on for the last few weeks or few months rather. There are a lot of, if you go deeper into the country now, what is happening is you're looking to get money out of the rich guys, and the sons of the rich guys are sitting in Bombay, Delhi, and all these metro cities. There's a lot of wealth which has already been created in the tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities, and they don't know where these startups are. So most of the startups are coming in from Bombay, they're coming in from Pune, from Bangalore, or they're coming in from Gurgaon or from Delhi. What about these startups who are already there in the tier 2 cities? And we also have the HNI sitting in that same, I'm sure if you guys do a little bit of a research, you will realize that there is this startup who's sitting in one place somewhere in tier 2 city, some village somewhere, or tier 2 town, and there's an HNI sitting there only. They don't know how to get connected. I think the next thing would be to create that bridge between the tier 2 city investor and the tier 2 city startup.
Not only that, Sangeet, I would want to add, it has to be a cross border. And that is what the platform like Bringle, which we are trying to do. In fact, that is the reason we are asking startups to put up their pitch decks, because we have started working with cross border investors. So we have done our own tie-ups and partnerships in UK, Singapore and other countries right now. I mean, Germany and other places. So the point here is, it is not about now investors coming in from there. I just wanted to answer that point, basically bring that point, that why we always think that our startup will get acquired someday. And that's a very, as you rightly said, it's like an exit mindset of an investor. Then investor is not adding value to the startup from that perspective.
And
So,
sorry.
And I think the more and more focus is now shifting from the investors also, is more on profitability and long-term sustainability. So this acquisition business somewhere has to stop. And all these big companies are anyways taking those benefits. They ask for the pitch decks, ideas, and then they develop within their own internal teams or internal own their startups domain, within their own fleet of startups. So, I mean, frankly speaking, it's a big problem for the startups. I'm not trying to, go to a different position out here. Santosh, you were talking about something. You had some point. You raised your hand. So if you can talk right now. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So Sangeet was telling about tier 2, tier 3 cities in our fund. Actually, we have HNIs from Hubli, Dharwad, Sangli.
Yeah.
And then we support startups in. I mean, I don't know whether you want to call Sangli, Hubli, Dharwad as tier 2 or tier 3, but we have wealthy people from that area. I have someone from rural area of Punjab. I mean, his major work is agriculture. So he says that, I mean, if I can say this in Hindi, he said like, बहुत सारे न्यूज़पेपर्स में ऐसे आते रहते हैं कि कुछ तो स्टार्टअप है, ये लो मेरे रुपया एंड देन आप इन्वेस्ट करो.
Super.
Very desi language.
Nothing, no startup, no. हाँ, मतलब it's like he doesn't understand the technology. But of course, is known to be someone else. I mean, that's just a different story. I don't want to get into that. But the whole idea he's talking about is the awareness. I mean, I think all the media friends have created such an awareness. there is an absolutely people are coming and then telling you, okay.
I think we got to start doing the startup camps now to reach out to these
Right,
HNI
right.
tier 2 cities now.
So I
Educate
will
them.
need all of your help in this, Sangeet, Santosh, and Kavi. Whichever area you are in working in, and we want to bring these people onto the platform
Agree with
and
you.
give them that access, because this is the effort which we are trying to put in with this technology. See, and it has to be easily usable. And see, there is a learning curve for every technology to be learned. So let us bridge that gap of learning curve, make them understand the way they can understand, bring them on this platform and bring the best of the talent in the startups.
Agree with you.
And rather than looking at only few companies like Facebook, Microsoft, IBMs and TCS and all that, why can't we create small zones which can make really of Google of their own, DCS of their own? There are people who have potential. We can club together, make more synergistic startups. We can have a more collaborative ecosystems. So if we can work on those processes, end-to-end processes, so pick up a cycle in an industry from end-to-end process, fix it up, different startups into that process, rather than looking at only one part of the entire value chain. Can't we develop the entire value chain with multiple startups getting benefited into it?
Absolutely. Fantastic.
So that's a different shift we need to bring in, and this is what we are trying to do in Design Your Unicorn also. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional and very passionate about this aspect. So if I've kind of hurt anybody's sentiments, please,
No, otherwise
I
we
really
keep on seeing
apologize.
Facebook getting married to Geo, हम लोग का क्या होएगा?
Absolutely. See, they can do
Otherwise,
it.
बड़े लोग करेंगे तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे?
So
खाना पड़ेगा खाने में.
absolutely. So I think I will hold my other questions right now. I will not ask because it's too much. It's already 6:15.
We are already late on the schedule. So
Yeah.
I would say we will hand it over to Rashri for the pearls of wisdom, and then we'll try to take it from there. Thanks. Over to you, Rashri. Thank you.
I have just a moment, Mani. I have unmuted everybody. You can unmute yourself. If you have specific question you want to ask, please feel free to unmute and ask. We will take one more question from the audience. Anybody?
Okay.
Vinayak, you are trying to ask some question? Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes,
Vinayak, we can.
Yeah, Vinayak.
Yes. See, I've been running bed and breakfast facility since 1998. I've set up furnished flats in Powai, and I'm providing this facility to corporates around Powai. L&D is also one of my customer, and I would like to have opinion of this one. That what sort of blue roof? What is that? Blue ocean strategy.
Blue ocean strategy.
Yeah, that I can apply in my business.
You want this question to be answered by whom?
Santosh
by
is
all or-
answering.
Santosh is already raising the hand. So
okay.
Santosh
Okay.
start.
Sorry, I didn't see it. Yeah.
He's wearing a blue jacket also.
Yes, and I think Sangeet, you must answer this question as well.
I'll try.
Sir, Vinayak sir, there was a 19-year-old kid remodeled the entire bed and breakfast industry in India and abroad.
Yes.
That's an absolute testimony. I think I don't ready answer for you, but the good news is that there is a 19-year-old kid. He did that, and then he is one of the largest chains in perhaps in the world. So there is certainly there is an avenue. I don't have an answer right now on top of my head, but I don't want to disappoint. There is absolutely there is a way to do that.
Okay.
I can just say I will again not be able to answer Vinayak sir's query or his question right now, but just give you a small example related to what we're talking about, the blue ocean strategy. So now with a lot of people working from home, right, there are going to be a lot of these offices which are available in other parts of the city, and they're not completely occupied. So we have a friend of ours who's now aggregating all these unoccupied space in the larger office and bringing it on one platform, and then making it available for any of the entrepreneur or anybody for any kind of a meeting, and use that space which is just lying vacant. So I don't again have to travel. So let's say I have to go and meet Vinayak at Powai. I don't have to meet him at Powai anymore. And he doesn't have to come to Jew to my office anymore. We try to find a place midway to this particular platform and use that particular facility. So the gentleman who owns that property is also gaining in terms of some kind of revenue. Vinayak is going to save time. I'm going to save time. These are all kind of innovations which we're going to be start seeing in the and apply the blue ocean strategy. One example I just gave.
And Vinayak, I think we still have to connect offline. Do connect with me offline. Let's have a discussion in more detail, and we'll see how we can help you out over there.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Over to you, Rashri, for Pulse of Wisdom.
Okay, thank you, Mani. Thank you, Ansha. As usual, it was a pretty engaging and profound. As you keep listening, you feel that you never know that how the time is passing.
We can talk for another 1 hour, no problem.
Yes. So the pearls of wisdoms that I have gathered today. So Karinder Sharma, he talked about, actually he started with the blue ocean strategy. So being a faculty and a professor, and with the the amount of experience he has, I think he started very gave the clarity of what it is about. And he talked about as an uncontested marketplace from the where either you are the blue ocean strategy can be for existing customers as well as for the new customers, and the market size is the and what you're going to get it is the dynamic profit sustainability, and where you are the only one. He also talked about it is not about micro picture, but it is about a big picture, and that is the blue ocean strategy. Every business is doing daily innovation. Every day is giving something new to the customer, and this value is required, and which is the back of mind. If you have the strategy in your mind, you will be able to create for the same customer, you will be able to create something new. Every day is now. He also talked about it's a there is an unheard market. So one is for the existing market. You do business, you do every day inventing, reinventing, but he also talked a lot about the not heard market, and that has been his contribution. Sangeet Kumar talked a lot about how the real estate industry is going into a virtual world, how the virtual space is changing. Events won't happen offline, like real estate. Mostly they showcase their work through various channels of your exhibitions or your shows, but that will go, everything will go online. But he also said that there is going to be a hybrid model, and it will be a big model. So real estate industry, actually, Sangeet, you are in an industry, you have stuck there for so many years in spite of it's going through a lot of turmoil. Hats off to you, and you are looking at the new dimension of it, which is really remarkable. And you brought about the point on the tier 2 cities having requirements for startups, and how that can be bridged with the HNI clients from the same area. I think this is something, I think in the past so many sessions we had, we never talked about this point, and this is what Santosh said. It's already there, it's running and it's going. I think this needs to be reflected further, because when I'm from Maharashtra and they say that you go to Kolhapur, and you never know that somebody sitting next to you will be carrying 1 crore worth cash in his pocket. So it is like, it is not necessarily it has to be in Bombay.
Right.
Santosh Kotnis, you talked about today the 93% of workforce is working from home, which is not heard today. That itself has changed the market, has changed the way we are viewing and doing the business. You gave example of Facebook and Ola, Uber. You also talked about how they have created the different model, and what I understood that the Facebook has brought a lot of people together. So your model was one, and what you created outside was completely different. So and then how it evolved further. You talked about Ola, Uber as it's an experience. It's not about the taxi service. So, or though we had black and yellow and black taxis, we also had auto rickshaws. But Ola, Uber created that customer experience. So here I highlighted the point that it is not necessary has to be product. It is service. It is customer. It is your product. It cuts across the entire segment of how what you offer, whether internal customer or external customer. Somewhere you highlighted that. When you were talking, I just felt that the trend is coming where it's a blended model plus AI, image analytics, video techniques. I think all these things are coming home now. Earlier we used to talk about all these things, in the organization, or we used to read in any of the technology related newspaper or magazines. But everything will come home, because if half of the workforce is going to work from home, this is going to be a familiar words, and these familiar words will create more opportunities for these entrepreneurs to bring out, you go to the normal life cycle of a human being, and I think there it will play major role. That is what I think you highlighted on a larger spectrum.
So, Rajshri, just want to add there is a unique component of human machine interface is going to come.
Yeah.
Because currently the challenge, just a moment, the biggest challenge today is that while this technology is coming in, we are losing the emotional connect. So the emotional intelligence and all those connects will also have to improvise. The technology has to simplify the things for people to use and make it more virtual. So we always have this concept of virtual reality. So those things will also become more essential now and more closure to the world. And that has to come in into it and improve that human machine interface and bring in more human emotional connect along with the best use of the technology or simplified use of the technology.
So I think we are in a in a wonderful place now where technology, emotions, and the blended things, everything is not just remaining the outside world; it's flowing into your house, and we are going to get kind of used to it. So I think that's the pearl of wisdom for today from my side. Thank you very much. Over to Ansha.
Uh, Thank you so much, everybody. I mean, especially to speakers today, Kaveri, Santosh, and Sangeet. Uh, I loved the discussion today a lot. Especially, it was more engaging and more very focused towards startups and businesses, uh, and at a very crude level. I mean, not like a very high level discussion and maybe a 40,000 point view, 40,000 feet view. So I am sure a lot of business entrepreneurs would have got some good insights today, and we would like to help as many as businesses and entrepreneurs to shift to the blended models, as everybody has spoken about that. And even companies like TCS are now making blended models and shifting their 25 to 30% people into working from home. And I think we had one of the speaker last week who was mentioning about how they have shifted 11,000 of their employees in at work from home in just a month's time post this COVID. And with this COVID, with this work from home scenarios, how technology is going to change the world, it has to simplify the usage. It has to help people have more cybersecurity controls. We have also realized recently how the important, things have started. Everybody started using Zoom, but with that there come a lot of cybersecurity threats. And that's the reason we have taken some initiatives to automate all those steps. They were already automated, the main critical ones, but we have automated everything else also into the Bringle platform so that people can take the benefit of it. So with this, I think what I am trying, I would like to say thanks to all the speakers. I would also like to thank Radio Masti 24 by 7 Singapore, which is the only Hindi speaking radio channel in Southeast Asia. And all of these pulse of wisdom, they're making it live on their channel every day. So please tune in to their applications both on Android and iOS, and what listen to those pulse of wisdom from different speakers. And this today's session will go probably on Friday or on Monday. So let us take it forward. I mean, please do watch, tune in to that. Along with that, I would want to specifically thank my Fab 5 team and Simran, who has been there. So thanks Rajshri for making sure that we have wonderful speakers onboarded. I think we have interacted with more than 70, 75 speakers by now.
100.
And I am sure you would have reached out to at least 750 speakers for the same. So I can understand your challenge. Thanks, Rajshri, for being a gender neutrality and HR transformation partner with Poonam Foundation for the same. Charu, thank you so much for being there, and supporting it from the womenlines.com and taking this thing across globally, literally globally. And we have a lot of good experts and speakers coming up with your connected experience group as a community partner with Yusuf, Ms. Shuchi, Kasturi, and Pooja, and yourself, of course.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And I would also like to thank Sharmila, who is the CEO and co-founder at Bringle and managing director at Vardhan. She does a lot of work behind the scenes. We don't have time right now, but I would only say only one thing which comes into my mind is disability is not inability. Thanks to Sharmila for being there for such a long time with us. And I would also like to thank Madi being a very instrumental in designing this entire program, helping us to design the program of Design Your Unicorn, giving his valuable inputs, coming up with his unique pulse of wisdom and beautiful and wonderful questions. Thanks, Madi, for being there, and Solworks being our startups partner as well as the tech partner which he's supporting. Thanks, Madi.
And
Thank you.
and ICX is giving us speakers, Ansha. ICX is logo partner for
So Shashank, so thanks Rajshri for reminding that. I would also like to thank Shashank Pradhan, who is our business networking partner, and he has been supporting us with a lot of speakers and experts and connecting us globally. ICX Pro is a business networking partner with us. We also have consulting partner as PMC, and then these are the upfront partners which we are looking at. We also have got a lot of support from Bhavesh Kothari, who is the co-founder at Millennium Divas, who has been supporting us by reaching out to a lot of investors, speakers, and experts, and helping us out to grow this technology platform, because of which we could develop our own video conferencing solution as well. And we are just trying to upgrade that and market it out well. So thanks to him as well onto the same. I would also like to thank all the participants, daily viewers, listeners, people who are watching it on YouTube channel Bringle Talks. Do subscribe and keep spreading the dream wave, Bringle Dream Wave. Please help at least 3 people in your personal and professional network. Motivate them to join these sessions every day. They will learn a lot out of it. If you are looking for investments or you are an investor, please reach out to us at info@bringleacademy.com. We would want to bring cross-border investors and startups on this platform and get benefited. If you have a wonderful idea, please upload your pitch decks. If you are looking for investment, please upload your pitch decks. And if you are an investor as well, do reach out to us. We would want to onboard you as an investor for our evaluated startups. So with this, I would only want to thank everybody and say, wish all of you that you will be able to achieve your $1 billion dream and have a sustainable and profitable unicorn. Keep bringing, keep growing.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Nice, very
Thank
nice.
you. Thanks, everyone.
Stay safe, everybody.
you.
Take care. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Santosh, thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.